Okay, well, first of all, thank you very much for asking me to come down from Glasgow today to deliver this presentation. It should be Jennifer Kelly that's here. You'll probably see that in your programmes. So I'm kind of hoping it's pretty obvious that I'm not Jennifer. And that's actually a point. You know, if this presentation's rubbish, you know, or you want to complain or offend anybody, just make your complaints to Jennifer, because it shouldn't be how it's here anyway. Okay, a relatively short presentation. Although it's a relatively short presentation, I want to try and fit quite a lot into it. Yeah, the main bit of the presentation is going to be surrounding Paraphernalia developments, but I really want to kind of set the scene, you know, and look at the dynamics of injecting in Glasgow, and I want to also look at some of the problems that we've encountered over the years, and then talk about how we try to introduce paraphernalia innovation as a way of dealing with some of those problems. Okay, back in 2006, they estimated that Glasgow had just under 9,000 injecting drug users. We were pretty unsure at the time if that was an accurate figure or not. However, 2 years ago we introduced a computerised data collection system across all of our outlets, and we now have some very accurate data. It's a fantastic system, and over the past year you can see we've seen almost 13,000 individual clients. We completed nearly 68,000 transactions. We gave out just over 1.25 million needles. So it's a fair size of a programme in Glasgow. We have 74 IEP outlets that meet that challenge. You'll probably notice a slight difference in terminology now. In Scotland we've dropped the term needle exchange. You know, we're now talking about injecting equipment provision. It's no longer about an exchange. You don't have to bring stuff back to get more stuff out. You know, so I actually seen that change in terminology. Usually changing terminology is absolutely pointless, but for this exercise it's been pretty useful. That said, I can't get away from the term needle exchange. I mean, my post just now is Improvement and Development Manager for Injecting Equipment Providers across Greater Glasgow and Clyde. Basically I manage the needle exchange programme on a day-to-day basis, make sure we're providing a good service. But when I introduce myself, people go, what's that? You just go, manage the needle exchange, and we go, all right, okay. Glasgow has a large transient injecting population, a large public injecting population, if you like, as well. We commissioned research 2 years ago to look at the nature and the scale of public injecting in Glasgow, and that research was quite startling. They came back and suggested that we have between 2,000 and 3,000 people injecting in public places in Glasgow every week. And again, I think that's pretty much accurate. A lot of work that I do in Glasgow city centre surrounds work with public injectors. The dynamics is people are travelling from all over the city into Glasgow, almost commuting as you would come into work or whatever. You know, they don't have homes or premises to go to inject at that point. You know, so they're going to inject in a public place. So it's an ongoing piece of work for us here as well. Historically, we've had problems with discarded equipment, used needles. We've also had a big problem with discarded unused equipment. I'm saying it's a big problem. It's a big problem in respect to people find needles that haven't been used. For us, that is almost the same as finding needles that have been used. You know, the complaint will be, I've found needles. Bacterial infections in Glasgow have been pretty common as well. Even going back to 2000, there was 20 deaths related to Clostridium novae. You know, the anthrax outbreak in Scotland 2010, 14 deaths, half of them were in Glasgow as well, Glasgow City. We have the highest prevalence of hepatitis C in the UK. It's estimated in Glasgow City the prevalence of hepatitis C amongst injecting drug using population is 73%. We're hopeful that that's fallen a little bit now, but regardless, it's a significant problem. So that's the kind of backdrop, if you like. This is a story that broke, I actually broke into the Scottish Sun on Sunday. I've pulled this for the website, so you see it's just a few days ago. This is a horrible story. You know, Glasgow has a very high-class shopping street called Buchanan Street. You know, and you've got Fraser's are there, and Hobbs, and you know, all the kind of high-class, Laura Ashley, and all the kind of high-class shops. But yeah, just directly behind that in the service area was this kind of bunker where people were going to prepare and inject drugs. And that was the real story. The real story there for them was, oh, this is happening beside a really posh kind of shopping street. Not the fact that there was loads of people actually having to go into situations like that to prepare and inject drugs. And you know what, if the dope dries, there's dozens of sites like this spread throughout the city. I'll show you a picture of one or two in just a wee minute. Okay, moving on to kind of paraphernalia innovations. 2009, working with Frontier, we decided to try and put all our equipment together in one kind of single-use, easy pack. And it was a direct response, I suppose, to the problems we were experiencing with drug litter, particularly unused injecting equipment, in relation to kind of needle reuse as well, so really promoting single-use and blood-borne viruses through sharing. You know, this really isn't rocket science at all. So that's a one-hit kit. You know, a kind of single-use packet. You open up that packet, you have an alcohol swab, you have a sachet of citric acid, you have a spoon, and you have a syringe with a filter built onto the end, and then I have a separate filter as well. I'll talk a wee bit more about the filter syringe in just a minute or two. Okay, we're in evaluation. One-hit kits late in 2009. It was independently carried out. There was 97 questionnaires completed. 78% of those questions felt that it encouraged them to inject more safely. And when you look at the responses there was a lot to do with sterility, and there was a lot to do with single use, and a lot to do with not sharing. In fact, 70% of the clients interviewed said that they didn't share any of the pack contents. All of those interviewed liked the concept of the one-hit kit. And why wouldn't you if you're making things more simple for people? However, there were negative comments, and some negative comments about the needle and the filter. When we were putting the one-hit kits together, we moved away from a 27 gauge needle and moved up to a 29 gauge. So the needle's just a wee bit finer. And of course, the idea behind that was it would cause a little less damage if it was used, especially used repeatedly. That requires a slight change in people's injecting technique, whether injecting has to be just a wee bit slower. Or for those people that were digging, trying to find a vein, yeah, the needle could be bending, or you know, if they were repeatedly getting missed hits or whatever, the needle could block as well. So there's a wee bit of work to do surrounding the proper injecting technique and proper use of the equipment. A number of complaints as well relating to the filter. We'll cover that in just a wee second. But when we asked how the packs could be improved, the overwhelming responses the clients were saying it could be improved by providing water for injection and a separate filter. Now we've now met both those requirements. That's a close-up of the filter syringe, and I'm saying it requires a slight change in injecting technique. You know, that cap would stay on when you drop the water, you know, and then you put that on top of the drugs in the spoon. And it has to be directly, you know, straight up and down into the spoon. If you're holding an angle the way you would probably with another needle, then it's going to draw air into it, and it can be, you know, you're only going to try that once or twice, and if it doesn't work, then you're probably not going to use it, not going to use it again. So I think the filter syringe has pros and cons. I think some of the good things are it definitely promotes single use. You know, just as a one-hit kit promotes single use, the filter syringe promotes single use as well, because you can't reuse the filter. It's a high gauge needle, which should be causing a little less harm. It's a very effective filter. We're currently working with Health Protection Scotland to look at, really just looking at the anthrax cases and looking to see if filtration would have in any way helped the spread of anthrax. And we know for the filter syringe, and it's very effectively trapping particles, very small. You know, and it's trapping a lot of particles that would be the same size as anthrax spores. I can't stand here and say, oh, yeah, that's going to filter out anthrax. You know, but I think in outbreaks like this, you know, we really have to start focusing on proper filtration. A pro as well, I suppose, is there's very little drug residue left. Clients would probably say that's not a pro because they like to keep the filters and cook them up and use them. But there's no point if your filter doesn't really hold any drug residue. You can't keep a hold of it and cook them up. Some of the downsides is you have to provide a demonstration. It's pointless just bringing in new bits of equipment and saying, well, go and figure it out and just get on with it. You know, we have to sit down with people and show them how to use it, show them how to use it properly, and talk about the benefits of using it as well. And I spoke a wee bit there about how it requires a slight change to the preparation process. Okay, this is something that, you know, I'm still seeing on a fairly frequent basis, and it's discarded pack contents. What I don't tend to see now, I don't tend to see as much, is the 1 ml pack contents being discarded. So the one-hit kits people seem to be taking away and using, but you know, for the 2 ml pack that we don't have in one-hit kits yet, then the pack contents are still being discarded. So we're now putting all our equipment into one hit kits, and people will have a choice of four different needle sizes, which realistically I think is the best we can do from pharmacy provision. Obviously, our fixed sites will provide a lot more in relation to needle choice. Okay, did any have a chance to go to the frontier store and see the kind of mime mat? Yeah. Okay, this is I'm not going to spend too long on this. This is, I suppose, is more of a gimmick than anything else. But it's a very useful vehicle for us to get the harm reduction messages across, in particular steps to safer injecting that Nigel was talking about just a minute or two ago. The idea is it's a reusable personal preparation area. So this is really useful for people, not just people that are injecting outdoors, but anybody that's injecting in an environment where they want a wee bit of clean space. They're able to take that, put it down the table or put it down the step if it's outside or whatever. The top of it's magnetic, so it holds the spoon, keeps things nice and stable, and the safer injecting messages hopefully would be kind of shouting out at them. I'm saying it's a vehicle to get the harm reduction messages across. It's been a great opportunity for staff to be able to say, okay, look, let me explain a wee bit about this new bit of paraphernalia. It's an injecting mat, and it's yours and all you would use it, but let me run through the steps on it. So it's been useful for that. It's a wee bit different from designing another pamphlet and another leaflet that we're putting into packs that people probably aren't reading. Okay, probably our biggest development over the past decade has been the introduction of water for injection and water for injection in plastic ampules of 2 ml. We know that the water is a central component in the injecting process. You don't need water to prepare drugs for injection. Again, as Nigel touched on, you also need water if you're going to flush your needle and syringe out for further use. We know the water choices that people are using are very unsuitable. We know that people are sharing water as well. And that's been identified for a long time. Back in 2003, there was changes to the Misuse of Drugs Act that allowed water for injection to be given out. But there was a problem with it. Water for injection was a prescription-only medicine. So although there were changes to the Misuse of Drugs Act, that really didn't mean that needle exchange staff, if you like, could start giving it out. That required a further change to the Medicines Act, which came along in 2005. And I have to say, at that time, exchange supplies were absolutely leading the way with this. Again, but the wording of it was very restrictive. It was saying amps of no more than 2 ml was said to be licensed or water for injection. And the only one that was really licensed in that respect, was a glass ampule. So that was a product that was brought to market and promoted. Why water for injection is important? This was just before we started the water pilot, maybe a week or something before it, just around the corner from my work. Quite a large communal public injecting site. But can you see all the wee pink arrows? I think there's 8 there. That's all bottles of water. Now we've either got a hell of a thirsty injecting group in Glasgow, or people are carrying their own water to that location to prepare and inject the drugs. And I guarantee if people are taking their own water there in bottles that size, then it's going to be shared. So a big concern. Recent developments. Frontier Medical Supplies have identified a manufacturer of 2 ml plastic ampules of water for injection, and they managed to bring the product to market. We've been running a pilot now for the past, we're running a pilot for 2 months with it. And it's absolutely fit for purpose. It's a great product. If you've not seen it, it fits well in the hand. The top just twists off. It's a lower slip attachment, so the needle can either fit onto the end of it, or a barrel would fit onto the end of it as well. Creates that seal for you to draw your water out. The fact it's hard plastic means you can carry it about in your pockets or a bag or whatever without fear of it breaking. Okay, we started the pilot. We ran the pilot over July and August from our 3 busiest exchanges in Glasgow city centre. We had the water for injection just available, and clients could take as much or as little water as they wanted. And we made the staff aware that, look, when you're handing over this water, you really need to make the following points. You need to show them how to use it, how to open it, and how it attaches onto the needle. They make the points that they need the water is single use, you don't share them with anybody else, and take away as many as you need. So ideally what we're trying to get is the same number of ampules of water going out as we did have needles. So I'm in the process just now of writing up the final evaluation for it. We'll share the main findings with you just now. So over the 2 months, we gave out 31,500 ampules of water across the 3 sites. And interestingly, the transactions across those three sites increased by 25%. Now across the rest of the estate, if you like, there was a reduction of 5%, so this was very, very significant. And if you look at the amount of needles that were given out over that time, there was a 10% increase in needles that were given out. So what we know is people were using exchanges to come in and get water, and at that point they were taking more needles as well, probably stopping the needle reuse that would have happened if they weren't getting in there in the first place. So very, very positive findings for us there. And part of this evaluation involved a client survey with 42 in-depth interviews, and findings there, 92% of clients interviewed had used the plastic ampules of water for injection over the past month. 60% had used the plastic ampules only as the main water source. 33% had used it with another source, and 7% said they didn't use them at all, although they knew they were available. So ask clients, okay, so before the water for injection was available then, what was your water choices, what did you use? And some of this stuff's actually quite staggering. 64% had used bottled water, and genuinely thought that bottled water was a really good choice. That was people who were aware there was problems with water, was saying, well, I'm really careful, I use Volvic or whatever. 31% had used tap water, and yet if they're endorsing tap water, incidentally, I'm sure you know it is a better choice, than the bottled water. Only 10% had used kettle water, so that's the only real kind of sterile source. You can see there. 7% had used toilet water, and when we explored the toilet water, this wasn't people getting into a public toilet and filling a container up from the tap. This was people who were getting into a toilet, shutting the cubicle and using the water in the pan to draw up. There was a couple of clients that were using puddle water, one client using puddle water and another client that was always taking a cup of water away from the exchange. This is quite worrying for us. We asked over the past month, have you flushed the needle and syringe out? 64% of the clients said that they had. So that's a real indication that they're going to keep that needle and reuse it. When we asked what water did you use for that, 77% said there was enough in the ampule to flush the needle and syringe out. Thought, yep, that's really, really good, it will still be sterile at that point. 37% bottled water, 33% tap water. You can see 11%, only 11% again with kettle water. And towards the end of the interview, we had asked clients for their comments. We left this quite open, do you feel as if it's changed the injecting process, and how has it changed the injecting process, and do you have any other comments? And I was really surprised at a lot of comments that came back here. Yeah, there was a lot of comments came back that it stopped me sharing, and it's more sterile and whatever, but a lot was really pragmatic. Guys are saying, well, I don't have to worry about trying to find money to go and buy a bottle of water. And if I'm going to public toilets, they know me now, and I'm getting lifted when I go there, and it seemed a lot of pragmatic responses. Okay, so the future, what's the future hold for us? Well, all of our packs, as I said, are going to be put into a one-hit kit for them. Water for injection is going to be rolled out across all our 74 outlets, and we're going to continue with a customer satisfaction survey and mystery shopping exercise, which we carried out 2 years ago, and that's just to continually assure that we're providing a good service and meeting the client's needs. But I'm also aware in this presentation I'm showing you some of the sites in Glasgow that maybe wasn't as nice, so there we are. It's not all that bad, I promise you. Thank you.